Welcome to What's Eating Harlem. I'm Vanessa Tyler. There is a lot going on in Harlem. Let's get started. One of the most anticipated restaurant launches in Harlem, honoring Nelson Mandela and South African food. Madiba Harlem. Babodi, anyone? Authentic from South Africa to America. The sounds, the sights, the heart, the soul. Africa Umoja with a message for Harlem.
Uptown in Harlem. See what I'm talking about?
Harlem's own is back home and back on stage, cracking us up and making us think. Phyllis Yvonne Stickney says things are out of order.
No, no, no! Out of order!
All of that on this edition of What's Eating Harlem. What's Eating Harlem, funded in part by Cove Lounge. Situated in the heart of Harlem, it embodies the spirit and vitality of its community, delivering a unique blend of cool sophistication and urban edge. Also made possible by Chocolat, Harlem's fine dining at its best. Everyone meets at the bar at Chocolat, 120th and 8th, 2223 Frederick Douglass Boulevard. Chocolat Restaurant Lounge. The night has an international flavor in Harlem. The band is on point, grooving, entertaining at one of the most anticipated restaurant openings uptown, Mediva, Harlem.
Thank you so much. We started in Brooklyn with $10,000.
Owner and executive chef Mark Hennigan has made Mediva a mainstay in Brooklyn for 17 years. But in Harlem, inside the huge Mist complex on 116th Street between 5th and Lenox, Mediva's has turned it up, bringing a taste of South Africa to Harlem. Let's see, there is the babodi. You can get it with meat or vegetarian style like this one. Curried minced vegetables with egg custard topping and crisped almonds. It comes with yellow rice and raisins. Then there are the fish and chips. How about the traditional South African style beef tenderloin sausage and tomato onion gravy? And don't forget dessert. This South African favorite satisfies the sweet tooth. Sticky and sweet lemon ginger syrup drizzled all over a braided donut. The worldwide enjoyed delicious South African cuisine.
South Africa is not only just, the traditional prepared foods from the Zulu, the Xhosa, the Indebele, the Sotho. There's 11 official languages in South Africa and so many cultures of people. And then you have the Portuguese that brought their spices through South Africa, and the Indians that came through on their route from the east via the tip of Africa. And then you have the English and the Dutch and the French Huguenots and all these different people that all kind of just rocked up into this place.
And they all left an imprint?
Yeah, and I think, they brought all that cuisine that, that really just kind of made it its own as the rainbow cuisine.
The food selections at Mediva Harlem, a melting pot, just like the country itself. A reminder of the spirit of unity, like the revered man the restaurant is named after, Madiba, the loving nickname of Nelson Mandela.
The Madiba name is just, son of Africa, father of a nation. It's through his forgiveness, through his heart, his compassion. And for him just bringing that country from a total despair of apartheid and bringing that together to some kind of a peaceful resolution, was really remarkable.
That is why opening night was so special to everyone involved in making it happen.
That this establishment has a lot to stand tall for, because you carry the name. You carry the name, the village name, the family name of Nelson Mandela.
Kudos all around, not only to Mark Hennigan, but also to Walter Edwards and Carlton Brown, the developers and creators of MIST, which encompasses a new lifestyle in Harlem, centering around the state-of-the-art green living in the Kalahari condo apartment complex above the restaurant.
What we're trying to do here is an important portion of our vision for what makes a community healthy.
The concept here is visionary. There is the Madiba restaurant, a coffee cafe with Wi-Fi and a no-pressure sit as long as you want atmosphere, a shop to buy South African goods and unique imported food, a bar to drink South African wine. There are even theaters here in MIST.
So it's kind of like a dream come true in a space like this. I mean, it's just, you know, everything that you want to be a part of is like, this place has so much potential to create all that stuff. I always thought about putting another Mediva in Harlem, but the opportunity never came. And I think the timing is always perfect, you know. So this is a good time to be here.
Opening night was so festive. The wine flowed, and invited guests feasted on the cuisine.
The food is very delicious. I know the food. I love the food. I understand the food. But he just put a twist.
Actually, I'm very excited about Mediva Harlem. I grew up in Brooklyn, so I am a Mediva Fort Greene person. I now live in Harlem. I'm very excited that Mark is here with the restaurant. The food is fabulous.
The food is fabulous. I had fish spiced to perfection.
And another thing I enjoy very much is the vision behind MIST and this place. I've been following the development of this place for more than 10 years. And the vision that Carlton and Walter have in having this place for Harlem in all its qualities, in this great food and in the great places to gather and do things, is just remarkable.
Madiba clearly plans to be a showcase for South Africa in Harlem, bringing in the authentic, not just the food, but the music.
I played with Paul Simon. That's how I got to America. I played on the record called Graceland, and I played with Randy Brecker, I played with Herbie Hancock, and I played with Shaka Khan, I played with Cyndi Lauper, Gloria Estefan, and Diana Ross, Grover Washington, just the list goes on and on. Derek Trucks, Stevie Wonder, just a lot of people. Hugh Masekela, Miriam Makeba.
But no matter where in the world he's been, there is nothing like the vibe here in Harlem.
Man, Harlem, it's like South Africa. You know, that's why for me it was so easy to make a transition from Johannesburg to Harlem, because it's the similar vibe, except the culture is so close, and you know, we had so much struggle.
Now, the doors are open at Madiba, where all are welcome in its new home in Harlem.
It's on. It doesn't matter, you know, if you're black, white, gay, straight, rich, poor.
Let's go back to Africa. The journey you're about to travel is real. It is pain, it is joy, it is South Africa.
Pain never leaves you. You learn to live with it. The pain is always there. It will always be there, but I have learned to live with it.
The pain Todd Twala, also known as Mama Todd, has learned to live with is the memory of apartheid.
Yeah. Oh, yes. I was born and bred up and I grew up in apartheid because, I don't even like to talk about those times.
How she has learned to live with the pain is by turning it into this. A musical extravaganza titled Africa Umoja, 20 Years of Democracy and Freedom. Umoja means unity in Swahili.
It was all about the struggle of gaining their freedom and how they were dealing and coping with oppression.
Singing is one thing, feeling is another. Many of the actors weren't even born 20 years ago and have no knowledge of apartheid. Mama Todd makes sure they know why they sing.
They sing it as a song, Long road to freedom.
But the meaning?
I said, Then I have to sit down and explain it to him or her that you are singing about people who were oppressed. You're singing about people who were deprived, who were, you name all the bad things that you can think of.
Wow.
So they get the point. Then I said, that's it. Then they start crying because I sit them down. Sometimes I take 3 hours explaining to them what my father went through, what my grandfather, what our ancestors went through, what I went through, because I'm not talking about what I had. I lived it.
So that is where the heart, soul, and love comes from these performances, which are so incredible, so vibrant, so real.
Our show is mostly about, the first scene is about the tradition mixing. In South Africa, firstly, we've got 11 official languages in South Africa. So all the tribes are combining each other, doing one thing. There's Xhosa, there's Tswana, there's Zulu, there's Tswana, there's Pedi, there's Tsonga, there's Venda, there's Shangaan, there's Swai. All those things, we come together.
A pivotal point in the play is, of course, the release of Nelson Mandela.
I was in Cape Town when I was doing a show, I was performing that time, when they say Nelson Mandela is coming out of jail tomorrow. And Mandela was out the following day. And when he was out, I knew we are free.
With freedom came other issues, as Africa Umoja 20 Years of Democracy and Freedom shows. Many left the rural areas for the first time, heading for the big cities like Johannesburg, where there was a different kind of life through the years documented in music and dance. Which is how this all started, out of trouble in the big city after freedom.
I came back to my country and I found a lot of destitute young people roaming the streets with nothing to do, who has resorted to taking drugs, prostitution, whatever, you name all the negative things that young people go get themselves into nowadays. So I thought, how can I help? It started as an outreach program by teaching them dancing, training them, singing, acting, you name it, I just wanted them to play, but as long as they are not on the streets.
That was nearly 20 years ago, and now this musical has played for audiences in Africa, London, and more than 30 countries. This night it is on the Upper West Side at Symphony Space. Umoja, the unity from South Africa, around the world, all the way to Harlem, and the lessons to be learned in song, dance, and overcoming a common struggle. And their message to their brothers and sisters in Harlem is, through unity, there is strength.
Especially my people, my African people here in America, I want them to take back ownership of the spirit of togetherness. If they remember what their ancestors and their grandparents told them about what happened during slavery, people were together. So Umoja is, I'm here to talk to my people, to my African people, that let's bring back the spirit of togetherness.
And together they are here to celebrate their new freedom. After all, it's only been 20 years.
So in celebrating this 20 years of freedom and democracy, we just think that 20 years ago this tour would not have been possible. Well, I think the future looks bright. I think if you go back and look where most countries were in 20 years of development, they probably weren't this far down the road. So 20 years ago, you wouldn't have a head of a department that's an African, or any diplomats there were African. So, so it's basically a learning experience. But the good thing about it is the rest of the world realized the importance of Africa, and particularly South Africa as the model of democracy in Africa.
The message that we're giving to you guys is that we should be together. We should be unity. Like our show says, the spirit of togetherness. We should be one. There shouldn't be African, American, Black, South African. We must be just one thing.
Harlem wants to get you involved. You got a story idea? Tell us. Go to our website, what'seatingharlem.com. There you can become a member and get discounts to some of the places we feature. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Harlem's own Phyllis Yvonne Stickney is home.
What? How y'all doing?
On this night, the audience at the Miss Theater in Harlem is ready to laugh because she is bringing her flip side, her funny bone. She is a comedian as well as an actor, but her routine not only makes you laugh, but think about society's craziness.
Oh. No. Out of order!
She started the night with a little spoken word. Her piece flips around the title of the iconic For Colored Girls Who Considered Suicide When the Rainbow Is Enough. Instead, she calls her rendition For Black Girls Who Considered Murder Because Suicide Is Not an Option.
Fearing a black girl's power. It's funny. It's hysterical. The conspiracy to keep her down. Don't tell nobody. Don't tell a soul. She's succeeding without being supported or being made whole.
Then she brings it, every personality inside her creative soul.
Oh, Lord of mercy. We can't believe it. The Kim Kardashian and all of them. Because I got my mama now. And my great-grandmama now. And my great-great-great-great-great-grandmama now. Order that is gotten out of.
The audience in stitches.
I never leave Harlem. It's always with me. It's always with me. It's what is part of that propulsion that keeps me moving forward, because I know there's some place that I'm going to be able to come back to and be heard and be nurtured. It's an environment that created me. I was born here as an artist. This is where I got to nurture my craft and learn what my abilities really were as an artist. So I always get to come back. This is like the Holy Grail.
She owns property in Harlem, bought it years ago when it was practically given away, something she is so glad she invested in. Now that Harlem is hot, things aren't as attainable.
Spoken word.
Yeah, I think New Harlem needs to embrace those of us who have been here and been here in a positive and productive manner, and not pretend as though Harlem only existed when they came.
Even if her heart belongs to Harlem, she has been living in the South, working on opening her own studio. Hollywood has always been tough for Black actors, and the best thing she can do is own her own studio, create her own projects.
With her mind's meditations on the righteousness where steeples painted early morning skies and masks made up of clouds and raindrops.
So I went back to the place of my birth. I was called back to the place of my birth to begin to build this studio and this production company so that we can take it around the world. Everyone else has an opportunity to tell their story, their way, in their voice, their vernacular, but we are always judged. And so it's important for me to use the vehicle that I have, the gift that the Creator and the Most High has given me, to be able to tell it in a way that is palatable, that we will listen, we will receive it, and be proud of our history.
That's all the time we have for now, but there's much more next time on What's Eating Harlem. I'm Vanessa Tyler. See you uptown. What's Eating Harlem, funded in part by Cove Lounge. Situated in the heart of Harlem, it embodies the spirit and vitality of its community, delivering a unique blend of cool sophistication and urban edge. Also made possible by Chocolat, Harlem's fine dining at its best. Everyone meets at the bar at Chocolat, 120th and 8th, 2223 Frederick Douglass Boulevard. Chocolat Restaurant Lounge.
To become a member of What's Eating Harlem, go to www.what'seatingharlem.com and sign up for special events like wine tastings and food tastings. Also, join us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. If you have any ideas for stories about Harlem, send them to info@what'seatingharlem.com.